In this video, I'm going to show you how to do progressive overload in a simple, clear-cut, and easy to understand way. Now, progressive overload is the key to gaining muscle, and understanding it and doing it correctly is critical to achieving your goals. Progressive overload is the idea that your muscles need a novel stimulus in order to see new growth. This stimulus is achieved through weightlifting. But if you just lift the same weight over and over again, then it's not a novel stimulus. So in order to get this novel stimulus and actually achieve progressive overload, you must increase the amount of weight or reps lifted. The new weight or reps lifted introduces a new stimulus, which is what creates more muscle. Increasing the weight or reps lifted are the two most common and easiest ways of achieving progressive overload over a long period of time because they allow consistent and steady improvement over time. But there are some other methods as well. For example, in addition to increasing weight or reps, you can temporarily increase the sets. So if you normally do 2 sets of pull-ups, next week you can do 3 sets of pull-ups. But you're going to notice that you quickly reach diminishing returns with this method. Maybe pushing it to 4 sets the following week is a good idea, but 5 sets? 6? 7? Now you're getting to the point where you're just cutting into recovery and it's not going to help you achieve progressive overload. So you can see here why this method is pretty limited as opposed to just adding 5 pounds every week to your bench press or something like that, or 2.5 pounds, and then 1 week doing 10 pounds. Right? That's going to be a better way to achieve long-term progress. Another method you can use is decreasing the rest time in between sets. And this will enable you to give a new challenge to your muscles. But again, you'll soon reach diminishing returns. You'll quickly end up at 15 seconds in between sets, and at that point, you're not doing strength training anymore. You're just doing some sort of conditioning training where you're burning lots of calories and your form is breaking down, and that's not good. Another method is to increase intensity. There are several ways to do this. One way is to increase time under tension, which essentially means lifting the weight more slowly especially on the eccentric or lowering portion of the lift. You can also add pauses at the bottom of the lift as a way to increase intensity. You can add static holds, which means holding the rep at the top of the lift and then slowly lowering. You can do rest pauses, which is resting for 10 to 15 seconds after a set, then blasting another set with the same weight. You can do supersets, which means pairing 2 exercises back to back. Or you can do drop sets, which means lowering the weight after a set and then immediately doing reps with that weight, and then lowering the weight again and doing reps with another weight, and then doing that as many times as you want. But the tried and true bread and butter method, which will put meat on your bones, is to slowly increase weight and reps over time. And these changes can and will be small and slow, but many small and slow changes over a long period of time are big changes. Okay, let's go over an example of progressive overload. So let's go with dumbbell rows. Now you might start out 1 week rowing the 50-pound dumbbells for 3 sets of 12 reps. In order to achieve progressive overload, next week you're going to row the 55-pound dumbbells for 3 sets of 12 reps. So you increase the weight slightly. And assuming you're keeping the same technique, that will stimulate growth. Now the following week you row the 60-pound dumbbells, but you only get 3 sets for 11 reps, which is fine because you increase weight again. Now might be a good time to switch to the strategy of increasing reps. So the week after that, you're going to row the 60-pound dumbbells again for 3 sets, but trying to hit 12 reps for each set now while keeping the same form and technique. And maybe the week after that, you move on to the 65-pound dumbbells, right? And progress won't keep increasing over time. You're going to have to back off and change exercises eventually. But you can see here how it doesn't have to be one or the other, increasing weight or reps. You can do both, and you should do both. You should have a hybrid approach in order to really see consistent results. You can increase weight, and then when your reps go down as your weight increases, you increase the reps until you hit the same reps that you hit with the previous weight. Then it's time to increase again. And occasionally you can mix in the other methods that I talked about earlier. 1 week you can do 4 sets of 12 reps instead of 3. Another week you can incorporate high intensity methods like rest pauses or supersets, but these should be used sparingly, and generally you want to use the method of increasing weight and or reps. Now, one of the keys to understanding progressive overload is that it is a long-term strategy. Significant muscular strength and growth occurs over long stretches of time. And here's the other thing that no one talks about. Planning to not achieve progressive overload is part of the strategy of achieving progressive overload. Incorporating the knowledge that you're going to have many days where you don't lift as much weight or reps helps keep your expectations realistic and aids in giving you a longer term perspective on gaining muscle. Another part of achieving progressive overload involves regular rest and deload days or weeks. Now, I'm not saying take weeks off from the gym, but backing off here and there and going a little lighter intentionally can aid in your long-term goal of progressive overload. Part of gaining muscle is managing and being realistic about your expectations regarding how long it takes to see results from weightlifting. If you want a detailed breakdown of how long it takes to see strength and muscle gains from weightlifting, then go watch my video where I answer exactly those questions.